Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I wanted to speak about men in marriage. We live in a society where monogamy is the norm. Live with your wife, sleep with your wife, eat with your wife, do everything with your wife, literally 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are stuck together, and for a man, that's very detrimental. That clips your wings. Men were not supposed to live with their wife all the time. Men were supposed to go out and explore, trade, travel, go and seek knowledge, go and conquer the world. But when you're constantly living on top of your wife and you're living in a very claustrophobic environment, that really clips a man's wings. Men were not supposed to do that. Men were there to conquer, to establish legacies, to have multiple wives and children with different lineage. This has always been the case for men for 2,000 years. But in the last 50 years, we've got this Disney, Hollywood fairy tale where men and women are stuck together. Where are you going? What time are you coming back? This is the life of a man, not checking his messages, no freedom. And this clips a man's wings. It really lowers his testosterone levels. He becomes a shell of a man. And this is not the way to live. Men need to spend time with men. And we meet at the cafe, we go to the park together to work out. Men need to be with other men. It's very important for men to have a masculine brotherhood, to have a masculine fraternity where they are together. Iron sharpens iron. Spending too much time with women will soften you like they are. So we have to have that brotherhood. You've got boys, I've got boys. Alhamdulillah, it's important to raise boys in an environment where they're spending time with their dad. And oftentimes boys grow up with women as well. They grow up with their moms, their sisters and their aunts and grandmothers. They become soft. But it's on us as men to take them to adventurous places, climb trees, dig up the dirt, find insects, get scratched, get grazed. These are part of growing up. We had it, they will have it, inshallah. Boys need boys, men need men. And this is just something I wanted to say because it's far too often I get cases of brothers who have been married for 5-10 years. Their wife has slowly cut them off, not by purpose, but just over time. They feel guilty going out with their friends. So over 5-10 years, they actually have no friends. Their friends kind of just drop off. And when they go through a divorce because their wife is now fed up of them, he's spending too much time with her, she's like, get out my face. He becomes codependent on her. He loses his masculine edge. He loses his sharpness. And then she inevitably divorces him. He has nowhere to go to. He's stuck. She cut him off from his friends, or he cut himself off from his friends, from his family. He has nowhere to go to. This is why Islam is important, to pray together and stay together.
Inshallah. Thank you, Brother Asif. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Hello, friends. I agree with everything you mentioned and said. I don't know if you've heard of this concept before or not. I heard it from my elder guy who's been married 40 years plus. It's called, he said he's single but married.
I like
so
that.
He's single.
I like that.
Yeah, he's single but married. And it has worked for him. He was married for 40 years. And, without him sort of delegating some of the responsibilities in the house to the wife, and he has his own space where he escapes and he does his own ventures, whether it's business, travels, and so on. So I think as men, we do need our own space. We do need to be around men, and especially us raising our boys. I noticed that when they spend too much time with their mothers, they become too feminine and too sensitive to an extent. Whereas if I take them out and spend time with them, some of the stuff that I see that are too sensitive, I will, try to correct them. And, like in the beginning when my son was born, he'd fall down and I'd run to him and pick him up. And then eventually my elders told me, son, you got to let them fall and just make sure they get back up and make sure they're okay. Don't give them that too much attention, because, it makes weakness out of them. But, I do agree that in this day and age, we are very much sort of controlled or in the realm of our partners, which we need to sort of differentiate and set boundaries. And, yes, we're not in the era of having wars and going to war like back in the days, but we still need to do, things that are manly and have our own space and be around men, and there's a balance for everything. So I agree with you in this sense, yeah.
And even Islamically, did you know the Prophet, peace be upon him, would only spend less than 6% of his time at home? He would be out. He'd be in the masjid. He'd be out trading, in the marketplaces. He'd be out building ties, doing tending to his flock. He'd only come home in the evening to spend time with his wives. He wouldn't be with his wives all day long. And that's the way to live life. Iron sharpens iron. Men need to be with other men. And because a woman's job is to extract your resources, your time and attention. And, she'll do that. She won't have any limits. So if you spend more time with her, she'll keep wanting more time.
Literally.
And then it'll get to a point where she'll have too much of your time and she'll lose respect for you. So they say scarcity increases value. And the reason why water is so cheap, you can get a bottle of water for 30p from Tesco, is because it's so widely available. But you can't get that, petrol or gold, it doesn't cost that little because it's less widely available. So something which is increased in value is because it's more scarce. So your time, when it's more scarce, increases in value.
Yeah, definitely. That's a nice way of looking at it. And what we're alluding to here with Brother Asif is not an extreme of being manly and some of the people that you hear on, YouTube and TV about men's masculinity and why you should be, cheating on this one, doing this and doing that openly. Everything we're saying is within, reason and within the deen and our faith. So I don't think what we're discussing is like, I don't want to make names, call out names, but it's not, something that's belittling women in general or anything like that. But it's just setting boundaries and making sure that we still have that masculinity and that manly edge that we need in society and in our lives to raise our kids. And, statistically, there's a lot of single mothers out there and there's single homes where there's no fathers, and it has an effect on the kids. Many effects and a broad sort of effects, whether it's poverty, lack of leadership, and then they turn on, they go on to commit crimes. It's a lot of sadness and, unfortunatity in these situations. So, yeah.
Yeah, good point. There's a very clear correlation between fatherlessness and antisocial behavior, imprisonment, detention and all that kind of stuff, school dropout rates. There's a huge correlation between single mother homes and kind of antisocial behavior amongst children, especially boys. Yes. It's important to have a father in the kid's life, but with a balance, because a father is not a second mother. A father's time is quality, not quantity. A mother's time is quantity. A father's time is quality. And oftentimes I see many men just pushing the prams around, changing the nappies. It's like, that's not your job, right? It's fine to do it. Like,
Sure.
Man should be able to do what a woman can do. He should be able to cook and clean and, do that. But that's not his primary job, Same as a woman, she can learn how to drive, but if man's job is to drive her around. So it's always, if a man's job is to put out the bins, these are manly things to do. Doesn't mean a woman can't do them, it's just better for a man to do them. Same as changing a nappy and cooking food. It's better for a woman to do that than a man to do it. You understand? So it's not that men can't do it, we can do it. And similarly with women, they can do these manly things as well, but it's better for them not to do it. Because, I do believe in gender roles, and I think gender roles have been reversed now, because when you're spending so much time with women, there's like chemical reactions, and your estrogen levels increase as a man. That's why men get a dad bod. Because spend a lot of time with women, estrogen increases, prolactin increases, because you're spending time with women. It's important to not spend too much time, because you become your environment.
I agree, brother. I definitely agree. And obviously, as we are fathers, I must admit, I was hands-on. I've changed the nappies. I've done it all. But when it was required, through the process in the beginning to help, when your other half is not well, there's no aib in all of this and there's no shame in this, We have to be able to be compatible in all of the roles. But then you must go back to your default position as a man, and like you said, gender roles are important, because if you don't set them boundaries, then there are consequences that can ripple on. And it's a subject that's sensitive to talk about in this day and age, but we need to be frank and open and honest, because if we just hide away from it and shy away from it, there'll be a lot of brothers and, sisters that will have issues in the future and are already having, relationship issues because of conflicting matters in society. But yeah, it's a big deal.
Exactly. I think it's all about going back to nature. How are we designed? We're designed to be men. Women are designed to be women. And going back to how Allah created us, this is our state, our fitrah. And we sometimes try to fight the fitrah. It's like me and you trying to become NBA players where the minimum height is 6'10", 6'6", whatever.
Definitely do that.
Yeah, like most of us can't do it.
Yeah.
Or it's you can't fight your nature. This is our nature, Or it's like us trying to be world-class football players where our bodies are not designed for the football or whatever sport it may be.
Yes.
Don't fight your nature. If Allah's given you certain characteristics, use that. And nature is being male and female. Firstly, don't fight biology. Biology is strong. Don't fight it.
No.
And go with your nature. Your nature as a man is to protect and preside. Preside meaning lead.
Mm-hmm.
But lead doesn't mean he's always there all the time. He's there when he needs. It's like a CEO of a company. You'll see him once a week or once a month.
Absolutely.
You won't see him every day.
Absolutely.
There's hierarchy.
Definitely, you're right, Asif. And also, something come to mind as well. Like being fathers, there is no fine print to tell us how we should, become. You figure things out as you go along. And I came across this thing as well. Just being present in your kids' lives, being there, and just spending quality time with them. This is enough, and teaching them the right things, the faith, and morals, and giving them the confidence they need in life. As they age, you give that accordingly, and that's the best things we can do for our kids. And being from the Middle East, being back home in our cultures, we have a certain pressure that we must make sure that before we pass away from this dunya, that we've got to leave our kids many houses and assets, and this is unnecessary pressure. The best thing we can give our kids in this day and age is just, give them the right path. If they have their deen and, they are in touch with, there's confidence, communication, and communication is a key part as well. If you can give your kids confidence and allow them to express themselves and be good communicators, then wallah, that's the best asset you can give them that will benefit them greatly in their future. And as a first generation, my mind has shifted from what we were taught by our elders, and you can't blame them as well. This is what they grew up in, but we should not have this pressure as men that we need to have these great financial things and ready to pass on, because this is not necessarily a good thing. And Islamically as well, I don't think it's just right to just pass it on in a halal way where the kids have not worked for it or not experienced the hardships that come with it. But maybe you can touch upon that more.
Yes, a very good point. And all lottery winners, there's no exceptions to this. All lottery winners go broke within like 3 years. Yeah, or even worse than broke, they go into debt because they got it overnight. They didn't work for that lottery. Mm-hmm. Overnight, they became millionaires. And it's like overnight, someone who's lifting 30 kilograms can lift 200 kilograms. He'll die, right? Literally, that's so much weight, he'll kill him. It's the same as that, because they've not worked towards it. There's no progressive overload. It's the same as lottery winners. It's the same with inheritance. If a kid gets inheritance straight away, a massive fortune, he's not had to work towards that. So he's not developed the brain, he's not developed the necessary skills, pathways to manage that wealth. Mm-hmm. He'll lose it all. So it's important to teach our kids in a systematic way where they can allocate proper spending and learn financial literacy. That's the main thing, financial literacy. So they can give a lot more charity. Yes. They can be generous. When they get it straight away, they lose the value for it. So anything gained easy is valueless.